Hello everyone, LRon here with part 97 of my Total Terraria World Annihilation. I have some good news for everyone. I have completed Total Terraria World Annihilation, so this cohort will be the final cohort of the project. Um, so the first three of these videos will be the 9 display grid gambit, and then the remaining content is, there's so little of it that I put the final two videos as single screen ones, um, as opposed to having uh, trying to do some wonky thing where I get it all to do a two screen split screen type gambit. Um, I could have gone with the four screen gambit and cut them into, halves and whatnot, but it just didn't seem worthy at that point. It probably makes sense to have the final moments of the project be on one nice big screen, so I decided to be fitting for those final two videos to go back to the single screen approach. Um, So these are certainly very exciting times. Um, and as an added bonus, during the summer sale, I noticed that the Paradise Lost was going for like $1.19 or something so cheap that even my broke self could justify picking it up for myself. So um, since Flake hasn't done it, I went and did it myself. So I've played Paradise Lost maybe 2.5 times through. Got all the achievements except for Harder Than r/Gone Wild, and I plan to, after uploading this cohort, get started on that project. So the timing of everything's really good. I kind of just chugged through and did 20 hours of hammering walls to make sure that I can actually get you that Paradise Lost content as soon as possible. So I look forward to that. Unlike what I did in Base Postal 2, I'm not going to actually go through and do a dry run on my own, then record myself afterwards. So I won't have a reference run, kind of like I did in Postal 2. In Postal 2, I always talked about my October run. I won't have such a thing. I'll just have the knowledge of the few playthroughs that I've done so far, and also the extrapolation from base Postal 2, because a lot of the weapon physics still operates the same way that it did before and all that kind of good stuff. Um, yes, I'm happy to announce that the machete has not been tampered with. There are some opponents that have natural resistance to it, but I'll get to that in that run. Also, something that's been bugging me for weeks now. Somehow, in my rant of things that Bethesda screwed up in Fallout 4, I forgot to mention that they destroyed VATS completely. I don't know how such a huge thing could have not been on my list of things to mention. It's kind of baffling. So, VATS was supposed to be a sacred thing that was a tribute to the DOS days when they didn't have the processing power to do real-time combat. So the idea was VATS was how they turned the game into a turn-based strategy when it came to the combat portions. And then once it became a proper first-person shooter, they kept VATS in like 3 in New Vegas and all that kind of good stuff. kind of just as a tribute to its DOS past, back in Fallout 1 and so on. But in Fallout 4, they get rid of the concept of time stopping, and you get to basically just cherry pick everywhere that you want to hit and you're good. Instead, they put you into this wonky mode where the world's still moving at 5% speed or something like that. So it becomes a lot less realistic for the glass cannons out there to do their thing. It kind of just pushed me further over the edge to be a pure stealth sniper, given the fact that VATS's utility went down the toilet completely. And then, of course, it made early game extremely hard for me because um, naturally I don't go for the combat stuff early on. Usually I'll go for lockpicking and hacking and the various utilities and just rely on my ability to stealth and VATS things to death and avoid the difficult encounters until I'm high enough level to actually start dedicating points into combat skills. So, um, I guess in a sense, the Farmville kind of saved me there because you get to get experience outside of combat, so that helps um, early on to boost me to a combat state with less physical content explored. So two wrongs almost sort of made a right, kind of, but in any case, I wanted to throw that in there before I completely forget. Also, since the last time I published a cohort, the um, another DLC came out, the Contraptions DLC. That one was pretty disappointing, but since I have the season pass, I get it anyways. The season pass was gifted to me, by the way. I wouldn't have physically bought that for sure, especially not the price that it's at. I would have waited 10 years and gotten the goatee if I had my way. But people wanted to respect birthdays, so okay. Anywho, so yeah, most of what Contraptions brought to the table was already available through mods, and generally it was far less adequate than what the mods could have done. And the good news is people have modded on top of Contraptions to make some of the Contraptions better. Um, I actually finally pulled the trigger and made Marcy no longer essential, so I can feed her through a special like butcher contraption that converted her corpse into bones and human meat. So I found that to be extremely amusing. So that was thanks to both a mod and the DLC. There ought to be two more DLCs coming up. I'm probably not going to mess with the one that comes out this month until the one from next month comes out as well. Um, but anyways, I've kind of got my hands full with the prospects of the Paradise Lost Postal Mode guide. Um, I'm super excited to get into that. So, anyways, that's enough on the Fallout front. And we're getting pretty close to the end of the video, so I think I will just leave that at that. So I will see you next video.